Hello, everyone. My name is Trey, but you can just call me T because it's quite long. And I'm a current full-time freshman studying Bachelor of Engineering. So I've not declared my major yet because my program will do it in the second year of the study. And apparently I'm from Thailand and I've received the Belt and Road scholarships as Thai representatives. So the first point which I'm going to share is about how to write a good personal statement. Okay, so first let's talk about what is personal statement. So as written in the slide, for me, writing the statement is quite the same as telling about yourself. So it is your introduction to the committee. So you can include things about yourself, like your short-term goals, your career plan, your long-term achievements, your talent, or your awards. But note that it is not writing down all your list of achievements. Of course, you can include some of your achievement, but you should explain why that achievement shaped you to be you today, because it is telling about yourself. Yeah, so I have some tips from my experience to write a good personal statement, as listed in the slide. So first is you should include something catchy. So try to include something unique and memorable things about yourself. And especially in the first part of the essay or the first paragraph of the statement, because admission teams receive tons of application each day. So you should give them the reason why they have to read your statement more than once. And my suggestion is you should avoid cliche, famous quotes or trending news, because a lot of other applicants include those cliche things too. So it will make your statement too boring. Yeah, so move on to the next one. My tip is you should write the first draft without the word limit. So I think, as you all know, typically there is a limitation of word that you can include in your statement, maybe 500 words, 1,000 words, or whatever. But from my experience, having a word limit will limit your idea to include in the your statement. So when you write your first draft, I think you can ignore all that limit. It can be 2 pages long or 3 pages is fine. Without the word limit, there is no border of your idea, and you can express what you think easier. So after that, you can just cut off some parts that you think is insignificant compared to other parts, or cut off some part that you think is unrelated to other parts. So try to as long as you want at first down. My third tips is try to make it relevant. So you should write the things like achievements, talents, which can connect to your goal, to your courses that you enroll, or to the university. So you may have many awards, but include the one which is not relevant to your future goal at all, is showing nothing to the committee. I think adding some small achievement or less prestigious achievement, but it is related to your goal, has a lot more impact, because the committee can see your progress and why you try to achieve that goals. Yeah, so I think try to make your statement all relatable to the goal of your career plan or something. And my last suggestion is get someone to proofread your statement. So you have to proofread your own personal statement, of course, and I think you should proofread your own many times, but you should find someone rather than you yourself to proofread it as well. Maybe your teachers, your family, or your friends. So those people they have different views or different perspective from yours, and they will see a room of improvement. Maybe they will this part is too exaggerate, this part is too bland or something like that. So those suggestions, those feedback will improve your final version to be more interesting. And this one, once you submit your application, I suggest that you could choose stop reading your personal statement. This is not like tip for writing, but I recommend you not reading after you submit the application, because like if you read it, you might feel it's not as good as you thought previously. Like this is normal. I think most people have this feeling too. So like they come back and read their statement and they think that, oh, this is not good as I thought. Yeah, but that's okay. So just don't read it, because reading it will make you nervous. Yeah, so that's my advice. That's my advice for writing the statement. And now let's move on to the next topic. So it's about the scholarship journeys at HKU. So my scholarship, as mentioned, is Belt and Road Thailand, and it covers all tuition fees. Of course, the direct benefits is I do not have to pay the tuition fee, and my family can save more money. But there are some like other indirect benefits from that as well. The first one is I can improve my academic performance. So getting a scholarship like takes away all financial concerns, and this gives the recipient more time to study and gain knowledge and like have a better grade. For me, I get like a lot more time to look for like other opportunities, like develop my skill or like do some outside class activities and a lot more. So I think receive the scholarship like really improve overall performance in the university. And the next one is, of course, career benefit. So if you receive the scholarship that is merit-based, it is like scholarship that you get depend on your like merit achievement. So earning this type of scholarship like can make you more attractive to job candidate. Employers will like recognize the scholarship as an accomplishment, and like including this scholarship on your resume can help you stand out from like from other people. Like it can possibly help you to achieve the career you want. And yeah, this about my scholarship benefits. And the last part that I'm going to talk about is my life at HKU. So what I include in this slide is all about activities, and it's so fun living here. So that's why I include a lot about activities. So this university have like many orientation day. So you can like, it's very easy to adapt with the vibes here and like make many new friends during that day. So I have joined like a lot of orientation day here, and I think I can make a lot of friends and really fun. And the next one I include is the very traditional HKU, is a high table dinner where the students wear formal costume and having dinner. This one I include because it's really new for me, and I have like a new experience by joining this section. And the last one is my favorite activity so far, cycling. So fortunately, like Hong Kong, you have all types of communities. So I have a chance to go cycling with other students who love cycling as well. And there are a lot of like other communities that you can join. And this is the prominent point of HKU. So it gathers people worldwide, and we have like many cultural diversities and many communities that we can join. So this is my like life in Hong Kong U in brief. Yeah, and this is all my section. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see all of you here. My name is Botagoz, but you can call me Bota for short. I'm a second-year Bachelor of Engineering student, majoring in computer science. I was born and raised in Kazakhstan, which is a country in Central Asia. I was admitted through the results of examinations like UNC, which is the Kazakhstani university entrance exam, where I picked math and physics as my main subjects, and also SAT, evidence-based reading and writing, and SAT subjects like math level 2 and physics. And of course, I also had to take IELTS, which was required to show my proficiency in English. After my application with my exam results, along with my personal statement, I got an offer from HKU and was provided the full scholarship, which covers the tuition and my accommodation expenses here. My hobbies are baking, exploring everything new, and fitness. Also, I have gotten several offers from other universities. My reason to pick HKU is that I think it offers the best quality education and always maintains high standards worldwide. It also has a very diverse student body, and you can gain a lot of useful insights from a variety of people from different backgrounds, and of course, amazing local culture and people. As I think personal statement is an essential part of every student's university application, I would like to share some of my points I find very important. First and foremost, plan the preparation of your personal statement ahead. Have a clear understanding of your topic and make an outline. Make at least 2 to 3 drafts of it to find the best version and to best convey your ideas. Secondly, identity. This is your only chance to show your personal qualities other than academic merits in your application. Show your personal growth, leadership, and communication skills and talent. Convey positive emotions like your enthusiasm, passion about the program in your writing. Thirdly, make your research. Show the clear understanding of why you want to study this program. Provide clear answer to questions like, why did you choose HKU? Which qualities in you would make you a good fit here? It's always good to show your intellectual curiosity also. Lastly, it is important to have a future outlook in your personal statement. Talk about your professional and academic goals. What do you expect your university life to be like at HKU? Which contributions would you like to make for the university and the society? Also, any career goals you like to pursue. Show that you have a clear goal and you're a goal-oriented person. Last but not least, be careful with the grammar and typos in your personal statement, as they could show that you are not very careful in your writing, and I think it could make a bad impression, so always proofread. Next, there are a lot of activities to be involved during your university years. One of my first student experiences was being a student ambassador. I'm also a volunteer at some worldwide known NGOs like UNICEF that advocates for inclusivity and child rights. There are also a variety of cultural and sport recreational clubs at the residential halls and colleges of HKU. Like a chess club I founded in my hall this year. For those who are interested in fitness, I would recommend trying out the variety of university sport facilities at the Center for Sports at HKU. So these are the local life and sightseeing places in HKU I would like to recommend you visiting, like Disneyland, Lama and Lantau Islands, ferry rides, SEC light and music show. Students always hang out in Kennedy Town, which is a popular place. Also, going for a hike is a popular recreational activity for all of the young or old people. And wonders in HK as an overseas student, first of all, being a fitness activity among Chinese elderly, which is Tai Chi in the mornings. You can witness a lot of elderly people at the campus in the mornings doing this activity. One of my first celebration in HK was Mid-Autumn Festival and mooncakes, which are very tasty. Also, fast delivery of everything and environmental control. And I would recommend visiting you wet markets.
Hi, everybody. My name is Trey. I'm born in America, but I actually spent the last 14 years growing up in Bulgaria as well. So that's a big part of who I am. I'm a year one student studying international business at global management at HKU. I did the IB diploma in high school, and I am in receipt of the HKU scholarship for future leaders. So just some personal statement fundamentals so that you all have the basics down, because I think people often neglect them when they're writing the personal statement. And these are the core, most important things, in my opinion. The first thing is going to be when you go and sit down to write your personal statement, just set aside 30 minutes or an hour and just continue to write without stopping. Just write whatever comes to your mind and really get everything out on the page, and then cut it down later to fit within the word count. Then, of course, as has been mentioned before, make sure you proofread. It's just a very basic and essential thing. If there are grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes in your personal statement, it really shouldn't happen. So make sure that that is taken care of. Keep the things in your personal statement relevant to both the message that you want to present, but also your program and why HKU. Keep it clear and concise, obviously within the word count, but don't ramble too much about things that are irrelevant. Also, of course, show enthusiasm, show that HKU is a place where you want to be, show passion about what you want to study and why you want to study it, and of course, be honest as well. Some of my personal tips for the personal statement, I think that something that worked for me, and I think that's really important, is having one key point that really stands out. If you think about it from the perspective of the admissions officer, they're reading hundreds of admissions of personal statements. And so you really want to have one thing that the admissions officer can remember you for, like, oh, this is the person that did that, or I remember this person for that one thing. It can really help if you pick the one most important thing that you are most proud of, or that you think demonstrates your capabilities the best, and try to dedicate a good chunk of your personal statement to that. Also, having things about your motivations in life and your bigger vision and ideas and your goals can be really helpful for the admissions officer to gauge who you are as a person and how you can fit within HKU, and also what you can contribute here. Also, I think it's very important that your opening and closing are the best parts of your personal statement, so to speak, because you want the admissions officer to really be hooked from the very beginning. So making sure that the first sentence or two are really engaging is very important. And then, of course, the closing is the last that they're going to hear from you for that point. And so having the closing being really nice and showing off your best qualities, and just having that to be one of the highlights of your personal statement, is also really important. Something else that I think is really important is not just listing a bunch of events, not just listing all of your accomplishments, but taking a few of those accomplishments and listing your lessons. Why are you proud of this? Why do you think that this is significant? List out the achievement, and then list what you learned from it and why that is important to you. And a little technique that I personally find really useful is inversion. And I think it can really help you when you get stuck, as just a very practical tool. Because I think in general, sometimes it's easier to find problems and to find things that people don't want. And so if you're thinking about what the admissions officer is looking for in your personal statement, but you can't think of anything, try and think of what they don't want and then do the opposite. It seems a little funny, but I think it can really work if you feel really stuck. You can imagine it from their perspective. They don't want to read something with spelling mistakes. They don't want to read something that's long and impersonal. They don't want to read something from someone that sounds like they don't really want to be here, or that they don't want to come to HKU. And so you can think of all those problems and then just write the opposite. And I think that can kind of help you if you're stuck. So just a little bit about my life at HKU. The scholarship has been instrumental in helping me come here, because, as T mentioned, it takes off that financial burden and allows you to really put everything into your academics and your life here, and to just really focus on other things without having to worry about finances or finding a part-time job and working. So that it's really helpful in just building that foundation for everything else. A big part of my life here has been hall. So I've been staying in St. John's College, which has just been really wonderful. It's a great place for international students as well. Super welcoming, super fun. And I think everybody staying in hall in general is really happy, not just in St. John's, but in all the halls in HKU. It's a big highlight of university life, just because you get to meet so many people. You get to really grow close with people from the start. You get to try so many different activities and so many fun new things that you don't get anywhere else. The university has also been great. There's a lot to do in and around the area. The campus has been wonderful for me to explore. I find a lot of the classes to be pretty interesting, and you get to meet so many cool new people on campus as well. Living in Hong Kong has been huge for me because I had actually never been here before moving here, which was a bit of a leap, but Hong Kong has really far surpassed my expectations. There's so much to do in the city. There's so much diversity. It's so easy to get around as a student because the public transport really goes everywhere. Even in the rural areas, you can easily just catch a bus over there and you can get anywhere you want to. So the city is super accessible for students, and it's just such a lively place, and there's so much to do. It's really a great city. And I've also experienced a lot of personal growth since coming here. University is a big step. There's a lot of responsibility that's put on you, and that gives you a great chance to grow. And I think Hong Kong is a great place for that because there are so many different things going on. You really get a chance to meet so many different people and to really explore and grow as a person. And just in plans for my future, I really hope to continue to focus on my academics and build up my career, but also I hope that I can, in a way, show other people about how great of a place Hong Kong and HKU is, because I think people often neglect the wonderful opportunities that are available in Hong Kong and in Asia as a whole. So yeah, thank you.
I would like to do some wrap up on about the approach, what we are looking for in the personal statement. So you may actually heard about will be the STAR approach, which is situation, task, action, and result. So usually like when open like a paragraph opening or like closing, I'm echoing Trey's tactics will be like, you need to set the scene, and then like having like a topic sentences on actually describe your situation and background as well. And then later on, after you explain or like you sharing or introduce your situation, we move on to the task, which is like how your wordings is trying to support on the situations or like outline your tasks or objectives or paved pathway to your examples. So maybe like in what ways you're trying to achieve or like face if you're very interested in particular programs, and like what things or what examples you're trying to support with your situation. And then the third one will be like the real action, which is like describe what you have actually taken or what you have actually tried along the years that you're really, really interested in that particular program. So it's sort of like the action will be like examples or like your experience or like sort of like your opportunities that you have been taken before. And then like how you can try to convince the readers, which is maybe like the faculty office or like our admissions office. And then as well as like how you actually describe your experience to support your application. And finally, we just move on to the result, will be like the outcomes and conclusion, which is again, you need to like maybe have some highlights on about like what you have learned or what you have achieved from that particular examples or like experience, with like a closing statement saying like wrapping up the whole thing, be like holistic and comprehensive. And then more maybe even like sort of like any soft skills, for example, like leadership, communications, or like whatever kind of like skills that you have actually learned from your particular experience. So moving on to like what we are going to like looking for or aiming for like when you're writing a personal statement to like applications to HKU. So do remember that you can only submit one personal statement in your application, regardless of the number of program choices. And which means that you can only submit once, even though you have like 3 different program choices. And then that particular personal statement is no more than like 1,000 words. I would say like maybe like 1 page or like 1.5 page will be the maximum, because usually like the personal statement will be like being concise and precise. And then like usually will be like within like 1 or 2 pages, the A4 paper will be the best. And make sure that try not to include bullet point, but then with more like paragraphs, because like it's sort of like a paper that's showing yourself like why I really want to go into that particular program, or why I'm very interested in HKU, or whatever kind of like programs or like majors or minors that you are interested in. And I noticed that like maybe some questions on about like, oh, I do have like different kind of like program choices. Maybe for example, like I do have one from art and humanities, or like one from science or STEM subjects, or one from maybe like other different kind of like other competitive programs. I would give you tips will be like try to find some like common points of your chosen program choices and trying to like include them as a generalize to let us to get to know more about, oh, because like of these ABC common choice or like common interest, and that's why I choose for like ABC programs. So and of course, like if like some of the programs, for example, like medicine or like dentistry will be more competitive, of course you can like maybe like use a bit more space to talk a bit more in your present statement. But I do think in generally like you shouldn't be too specific on that, because like you still have like other program choices as a whole. So that's why being like holistic or like find some like comments and write in the present statement will be a better pick. And as I keep mentioning, will be like let others to know better or different sides of you. So which is outlining some like relevant achievements or like how you actually can learn from there or like achieve or like the values that you actually learn from. So again, the paper is actually representing you, because like we don't know you before unless after we read your like one A4 paper. So that's why like that A4 paper is actually representing yourself. After we read the thing, then we'll know better about you. And finally, as a general reminder, will be like we do have like some separate person statement and essays will be required, which is more due to the due degree programs. So like for all the like, most of like up-to-date information or like what about the structure or like anything like other special that you have to include for those like person statement or like essay or like that kind of questions, please go to visit our webpage for the up-to-date information. So talking about like personal statement, I guess like you guys may be a little bit overwhelmed because like we have too many tips and strategies for you guys. But we want to like sort of like move on a bit into the general admissions at HKU right now. Will be our 2023 admission cycle has been open. So as a reminder, will be our first round evaluation will be due on the 12 noon HK time in the 16th of November 2022. So if you are very interested, do like apply it before the deadline, because like you will gain some like benefits. So maybe like have some like early offers, or you may have like shortlisted interview if you are like being shortlisted by the faculty. So which means that you can be like sort of like go a plan ahead, you know, like what you're going to do for the next step. But anyways, like after the first round evaluation, we actually do like keep accepting admissions applications as well. So it's a rolling basis and until the next year, 2023 in August. And again, we would like to remind you will be you can apply up for like 3 program choices in our HKU online application website. And do remember that you can check for the expected lower boundary. It is on our UG admission website, but do remind that the terms of like expected lower boundaries is just like a benchmark, which is for your reference of like different kind of like programs, what they are like, sort of like the minimum or like at least like how much marks you have to achieve, but it doesn't mean that it is guaranteed to be entered for the admission. So that's why this is just for a reference or like a benchmark for you guys for like maybe like preparations or like how to like put about like the choices or like other things. And as well as like you have to look for like apart from the admission standards of your international qualifications, and then as well as you have to check whether you have qualified for the English language proficiency and then the second language proficiency, which is like one language other than English. It doesn't mean that like you must to have like Cantonese or like Mandarin. It's as long as it's one language other than English, you'll be good to go. And finally, we highly recommend like you guys to check for like some like programs, subject specific requirements, because like, for example, for engineering, they may require for like maths and physics for like higher marks or like a certain marks of that. Or for business, they are more preferred to like maths or English in good level. And for medicine or some like health and wellness, like other subjects, they may need for like chemistry as well. And so that's why you do have to like do your like research like on our website and to get the most like, up-to-date information. So finally, we actually like it will evaluate your like applications holistically. So we will both like separate into like academic consideration and non-academic side. For the academic side, definitely will be your high school transcript. We usually will be recommend you guys to send out like grade 10 onwards. And then as well as if you have a critical score, like do remember to input or like your counselors will help input it. But then like you have to worry about you don't have like final result, even though like right now when you open the application account, it's okay, because like, as long as you had the final result at next year or whatever, just make sure that you update as soon as you know, or when the results become available, and then because we will evaluate your the application from time to time, and then holistically as well. So you don't have to too worry about, oh, I don't have the predict score right now. What should I do? Or should I just wait till like next year? I think it's better to like open your account and then apply it as soon as possible, because like you don't know what's going on like in the next year. So that's why like, if you're really, really interested in HKU, set up an account and then like put everything on it and then click submit, and then you can like, oh, I can be a safe net. So on about the non-academic consideration, we'll also consider maybe like your extracurricular activities, or like as well as like what we are aiming to like talk today will be about the personal statement, and as well as like references from like maybe your counselors or like your teachers or whatever, like people that actually can help you to share or like showcase on about your academic achievement or like your personalities by far, why you really want to be admitted in HKU. So finally, this is our website, which is admissions.hku.hk. And if you have any questions about like, oh, so what kind of like international qualification that I actually do need to have, or like, what about the like program specific requirement or additional requirement, or like how many marks I maybe like I have to take a look as a benchmark, feel free to click here will be the international qualification, and then to take a look maybe like by first clicking your current location and then your current holding qualification, for example, like IB, SAT, GC, A-level, or even regional or national examinations. And at the very end, you can choose your preferred program and then to take a look about all the requirements and standards. And finally, you may know that like, oh, so where actually I have to apply? Click the right top corner will be like apply this word, then you will redirect to our system will be the non-JUPAS and then or international for the admissions website. Then you're able to create an account, and then we also have a video on YouTube and a step-by-step guide to guide you. Like if you have any difficulties, don't worry, we do have like the clips and then the step-by-step guide. We're able to like ace you for the application.